Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Prop Wiz. I'm your host, Wiz. Look, I just finished episode 7 of Ahsoka. Dope, son. Every episode's been dope so far. Now, I will say there was a couple of parts in this episode that I could definitely tell it was a different director from the last couple of episodes, more specifically the Dave Filoni episodes, who I feel like is doing a phenomenal job, which is crazy since he's still kind of new to live action directing. With that being said, it wasn't so crazy that it was off. There was a lot of good things in this episode, a lot of things that I did like. It was just a couple of parts, and to be honest with you, I really can't put my finger on it. I don't know if it was just the framing of some of the shots or some of the fight scenes. It was just something about the actual directing of this episode that was just a little bit, I noticed it. But again, there was a lot of awesome things that happened in this episode, starting with the things with Hera. Like right from the beginning, they showed the politics. I was a little bit worried at first. It was something about the way it began. I actually thought that, okay, this episode is going to focus just on Hera. We're just going to be doing this politics thing, this political thing. And gladly the episode proved me wrong. But to be honest with you, even when it was getting into it, it was actually kind of interesting. I guess if they did do it for a whole episode, it wouldn't have been the worst thing in the world, as it did kind of catch me. It's just the awareness, knowing it's a Disney series, I always have this awareness that it's probably only going to be 8. And I never did look up how many episodes it's going to be. Let's see if it'll tell us. Okay, exactly what was on my mind. It says that Ahsoka will only have 8 episodes, so it's not a 10-episode series. We got 8 episodes, so I think I'm always aware of, okay, how many episodes do we have left to finish telling this story? So again, 10 episodes deep, a whole episode dedicated to Hera and the politics and this court thing, the politicians. Wouldn't have been the worst thing. Knowing we only got 8 episodes, meaning only 1 episode left after this one, I don't want to waste no time on that. I kind of want to see what's going on with the Ahsoka. Anyways, end up being dope. They had Hera in front of the Senate, in front of this court setting, being judged there about the court martial, or at least one of the senators wilding out about to court martial her. Beautiful cameo with C-3PO coming in. Really wasn't expecting that. And I think the Star Wars series have been doing a good job of having these cameos. Some you kind of expect, but it seems like they always have one that I wasn't even thanking him. Not only was C-3PO there, but he was there representing Princess Leia. Of course, actress Carrie Fisher passed away a few years back. I'm kind of glad they went in this direction. I'm not one of those people that get mad when they use the CGI characters. It really doesn't bother me when they make that decision, but I do think that CGI character is something they should only use when they absolutely have to, and when they know they can do it, and when they absolutely have to. And the way they handled this, I think, was way, way more respectful to Carrie Fisher and her family than to have that character appear. So it was cool. We got a cameo from a legacy character, and that cameo was there representing another legacy character. So awesome appearance. She basically stood up for Hera, saying that, hey, Princess Leia was the one that I was the one that sent her on this mission. Everybody agreed with it, good to go. She ended up not being in trouble. Cool scene, and that leads us to Ahsoka, still inside the spaceship, still inside the mouth of the well, coming out of hyperdrive into a minefield. Because of course, last episode we know that General Thrawn or Admiral Thrawn was aware that she was coming. So it looked like he left some space mines, some mines out in space. So she comes out of hyperspace into a minefield in space and had to maneuver through that. And then to escape, she goes through the graveyard of the space wells, basically the bones that are just floating around. Real dope scene, reminiscent of Star Wars, classic Star Wars, specifically the scenes when Han Solo, Princess Leia, and them had to fly through the meteor shower, through the asteroid field. Kind of had that kind of vibe, Again, the show is delivering this thing where it's showing something familiar in a new way. It had that nostalgia feel where it's like, yeah, it felt like old Star Wars, but they actually showed something we hadn't seen before. Some of the other highlights involving Thrawn, specifically, in fact, as it relates to this, man, again, they're kind of showing how he thinks. The guy is brilliant. He's for instance, he gets the file on Ahsoka and sees that Anakin Skywalker, as he knew him, General Anakin Skywalker was her master. And almost immediately he was able to piece together if she's anything like her master, she's going to be unpredictable. So look, this is how we're going to have to handle Ahsoka. Real cool, man. They had a little repetitive vibe towards the end of the episode. He kind of said that, all he really needed is time. Man, they're trying to collect some stuff and trying to light speed up out of there. So his plan isn't completely to destroy these Jedi. His main plan is to get away. I say repetitive because he verbally says that at the end, but I kind of got that feeling early in this episode. In fact, the last episode, I kind of got the feeling like he was just trying to pack up and leave. He's been stranded there. He knows if he leaves, they don't have a ride. They're going to be there forever or whenever, So with that being said, he did make somewhat of an attempt to destroy him or put their lights out. So, real cool episode. The other highlight, of course, last episode, we know that Sabine found Ezra. So we got to see them interact a little bit. Still kind of cool. I'm not going to lie. I said before that Sabine was good in my book. I felt like it was kind of some snake things she did. Some selfish stuff that she did a couple of episodes, I think episode 4. Of course, I know Sabine from Rebels. So, I was disappointed in her. Wasn't mad. But I realized this episode, as soon as Sabine was on the screen, I just felt it didn't feel good. Like I'm just, this broad. Her interaction with Ezra and even her interaction with Ahsoka later on in that episode kind of made it a little bit better. I think I'm a little less angry. We'll see where we go the next episode. But Ezra, super dope, man. I'm liking his personality. Some of it, they're just riding along, just him and Sabine talking, still trying, as an audience member and a fan of Ezra, was still trying to get a feel to this new guy, this older version and live action version of Ezra. And it starts out okay. It's like, okay, I can live with this guy. But then they had a couple of little fight scenes towards the end where he strictly used the Force. Sabine tried to give him his lightsaber back. He was like, nah. He used the Force to fight. On top of the Force fight being cool, I kind of liked his personality. He had this joking, this playfulness the way he was dealing with the stormtroopers and some of the characters. So that was definitely more reflective of the Ezra I knew from Rebels. So I respected that, man. So I came away, again, never hated the character, just had to get used to him. By the end of this episode, I feel like I know who this Ezra is, and I like him. I think it's dope. Of course, one of the highlights was Ahsoka meeting up with Sabine and Ezra. Just seeing that meet up. In fact, the way Ahsoka showed up was dope. In fact, we got to rewind a little bit. She finally gets to this planet. She knows exactly where Sabine is because she was able to connect to her using the Force. So she shows up near where she's at, and then she has to fight Baylan. Real dope fight scene. For the most part, I say it was dope. This is where I think it was the fight scenes where I can really tell it was a different director. So it's like the moves and everything look cool, but I just felt like the camera angles or just maybe again the way the fight was framed, there was something about it that I could just tell was different than the other episodes. But the actual movement and what they were doing was kind of cool seeing them fight. Baylan, actually, there was one point in the fight towards the end actually where he caught her hand when it looked like she was about to swipe at his neck with her lightsaber. He caught her hand. And he tells her, you can't beat me. And for some reason, I believed him. It was like a lot of confidence. And in fact, her response was, maybe not, but I'm not trying to defeat you or I'm trying to stop you. She said something that really didn't dispute him saying that. So again, man, it just makes Baylan look, this whole series so far makes Baylan look dope. In fact, while we're on that subject, I know I'm bouncing around a little bit, but I will say it's Ahsoka show. I'm here to see Ahsoka. Love Ahsoka. I love Rebels, so I love seeing Ezra, love seeing Sabine, Hera, and even Chopper, man. All the characters from Rebels is dope, and I'm looking forward to that. But so far, to me, Baylan and Thrawn seem to be the most interesting characters so far, only because they're looking for something. Like I can clearly see what their mission is. Of course, all the good guys' missions is just to stop the bad guys. But and Baylan even more so than Thrawn, because I don't know what Baylan is after. We know Thrawn is trying to get back. We know at least what the rebels are fearing from Thrawn coming back. So giving us an idea of what the good guys think Thrawn wants, and we have a pretty good idea what Thrawn. And he can always throw a curveball at us. But Baylan Skoll, we don't know what he wants at all. And in this episode particularly, he's been interesting that way the whole time. But this episode where I kind of see him walked away from his apprentice, because he kind of sent his apprentice to handle business. And of course she's dope. So, it was a good chance that she was going to handle business. But after he faces Ahsoka escapes him to head to that battle. There seemed like there was a moment where he was kind of thinking, do I go help my apprentice? Do I go help my people, or do I go on my mission? And he chose his mission and kind of went in the other direction. That was very interesting. That one moment, that fact that he was, inconclusive on what he was going to do or wanted to do, and made a decision, to me was cool. It just makes me think, like, man, what is over there? What is he after? Of course, usually when I do these reviews, I stick to the show. I don't like to predict things. One, I hate to be wrong. Man, Star Wars is so big, I can predict all kinds of things and be completely wrong. I did see there was these Force-sensitive, I think they were called the Zephos, or Zepho-Renians or something like that. I think they were short for Zephos. That was in the Jedi Fallen Order game, where Cal actually went to some of their temples, their old temples, and was able to get some old information from the Jedis, because basically they were probably some of the original Force-sensitive beings that weren't Jedi, they weren't Sith, but they just knew a lot about the Force. So there are some symbols that were in that video game, on the temples in the video game, that showed up in some of the temple-like buildings in this episode, or I'm sorry, the last episode when they got to that planet. So that's got me wondering if that's what Balin is looking for. Like, is this where all this Force information is what's calling? Last episode he said something about, do you hear it calling to me? So, I don't know if that was metaphorical or is there something actually calling to him. But I do think that's interesting, and I think there might be something to that. That's something I saw on another YouTube page, by the way. They were just talking about the video game, the connection between the video game and this. But I think it absolutely makes sense. I think I think it's possible that race of Force sensitive or Force users is definitely have something to do with this planet in general, and that might be what he's looking for. He said he's looking for power, and these guys got some power. In fact, if they were the ones that created that map, and that map has something to do with Ahsoka being able to access the world in between worlds, there's a good chance that this alien race of Force users might be able to access that too, which is power. So, very interesting theories, man, that I saw out there that also had my brain moving again. I don't want to put too much out there because I hate to be wrong. We only got one episode left. We might not have enough time for all that, right? So anyways, again, Ahsoka, Sabine, Ezra meet up. Cool little fight scene with everybody. Thrawn actually calls off the guards. He actually had sent some stormtroopers. He called them back because basically we just wasting their time. He's ready to go. Again, man, we got one more episode. I'm really wondering where we're going to go. And then I guess we got to consider, I'm not sure if this is a limited series enough. That information might be out there. I don't know if this is a limited series where this is just one season, or are they planning on another season, which means they can give us a conclusion in one place. Like, they can give us a conclusion with the Balin stuff and not give us a conclusion with Thrawn. The Thrawn thing might be another season. I don't know. Hopefully we get some kind of completion. Hopefully we finish some of these big things. Hopefully they stop Thrawn. I mean, essentially, man. Of course, we know the First Order exists, so we know that the Empire is rebirthed in some shape, form, or another from the Star Wars prequels, right? Not the prequels, I'm sorry, from the Star Wars sequels with Rey in them. We know the Empire isn't done. So, of course, watching this is like, is this where it's happening? Is this the seed? Is this where it begins? I say that to say that, the complete ending, specifically when it comes to Thrawn, might not be the ending. Like, so, I don't know. We know the Empire returns, basically, is what I'm saying. And he might be the man to do that, which means it might not end in this season. So, I don't know. We're hoping, man. I'm guesstimating. I'm stepping outside my realm. I'm just going to stick to this episode. This episode was dope. Absolutely loved it. In fact, absolutely might be an overstatement, since I did say there was a couple of things with the directing, but overall, still love it, man. I'm connecting it with the whole thing. I'm loving the series as a whole so far. Really looking forward to the next episode, which looked like it's going to be the last episode Hopefully we get something a little longer than we've been getting. But this one felt, man, they've been feeling pretty good, man. They really ain't been feeling short. This one did end with me wanting more. Like it had, I guess it had, a complete feeling, but there was so much more going on. When this one ended, it was like, oh, but one more episode. Anyways, that's my review on this. Please leave me your comments. What do you think about it? Are you following this? Let me know what's up, man. And on that subject, if you like this video, please hit the like button. If you haven't already, please subscribe. I love you guys to death, and I'll check you out next time, all right? Peace.